Thank you so much for joining today. While everybody is obviously joined on time, and we have almost 70 people, so we're expecting about 150 people to join today. What I would request is for everyone to hold your questions. We have a session today, as you can see, with Abhinandan. And hi, good evening, good evening. They're all wishing you good evening on the chat, Abhinandan. But it's just that we have a lot of people who have registered. So if we can wait for a few more people to join before we start with the actual session, that will be great. Meanwhile, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And we have a lot of questions that we would like to answer for the upcoming Screenwriters Lab with Cininfo. So this session is primarily for that. So please keep your questions only for that and don't digress it. If you don't have an idea about the Screenwriters Lab, I'll tell you more about it. Meanwhile, like I said, we're waiting for people to join, and we would give everyone about a minute or two. Since many of you have joined Cininfo or already are a part of Cininfo, great to see you again. Many of you are not a part of Cininfo. It is important for you to know that this is part of a Cininfo based program. So you have to be part of the community. That means you are a registered member. That means there is a subscription that you have to pay to join. That subscription allows you to between 8 to 10 to almost going up to sometimes even 12 sessions in a month, which allows you to meet various experts like Abhinandan and participate in various events which we conduct. So the Screenwriters Lab is part of the Cininfo community program. It is part of giving access to people who would like to know more about how to write, how to be a part of the film industry, how to grow your career. And that's why we invite many people every week on Saturdays as well as on Sundays to talk to our members and to have these kind of sessions. You can ask your questions during these sessions. Today's session is free for many who have wanted to join but do not know. Are you paying 500 for the lab? No, you're not paying 500 rupees for the lab or 449 for the lab. You're paying that to join Cininfo. That's the community. That's the monthly subscription. And we have, as part of the subscription, we do a lot of activities. For the lab, everyone who's already a member of the lab gets to apply for free. So I'm answering all those basic questions. The Screenwriters Lab, which we are hosting on Cininfo, is completely free for many members. And we also, just a second, I have a few technical questions on the chat, so I'm just responding to that. So we also have a lot of questions about the lab, because many of you have applied. You've shown I'm interested. We've got almost 283 I'm interested. So I'm glad many of you joined today. Yes, you're interested. Let's answer your questions. Please do not worry. We will tell you how to write the case study, how to actually apply for the case study. So as we talk about it, there is a certain form that is there, and there's a certain structure. Before I move further into it, let me, and it's already been 4 minutes. We normally wait between 4 to 5 minutes before we start every session. And we're very, happy that Abhinandan has been able to join. I know many of you are expecting Nikhil sir to also join. He's shooting right now. Because the lab is going on, that's why we're hosting an evening session. I'm sure many of you know, we don't do an evening session, we do morning session. But he's shooting, so we are trying to make sure that he can join. Sometime in the middle, if he can join for 10-15 minutes, he will join. But all your questions will get answered. So don't worry whether Nikhil sir can join or not. Your answers will get answered. The questions will get answered. Having said that, for today's session, I'd like to introduce Abhinandan for you to all know him formally. And it gives me a lot of pleasure to explain to you that Abhinandan will also be a program coach. Rather, he is the program coach for the session. And it will be over, sorry, just 1 second. Sorry. So we do have, I know a lot of you have questions about the workshop. Abhinandan is the coach for the workshop along with the 4 mentors. So while you have Sudhir Mishra ji, Shonali Bose, Vijay Krishna Acharya, and Richa Chadha. You also have Abhinandan. So there are five mentors. The main coach is Abhinandan. He will be working with the selected members on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, guiding you in various ways. So let me introduce Abhinandan. Abhinandan Gupta is an Indian filmmaker and writer known for his work as associate director on Sanjay Leela Bhansali's Bajirao Mastani and Padmavat. He was the head writer on the historical drama series Freedom at Midnight, which explores India's partition. His storytelling exemplifies human experiences and character dynamics. So wonderful to have you with us, Abhinandan. Please do unmute yourself. I'll just give you the prompt again.
Thank you, Deena. Thank you for having me, and hello to everyone on today's session. Happy to meet everyone, and happy to answer your questions in any which way I can.
Before we start with the question, Abhinandan, would you like to talk a little bit about the Cininfo Screenwriters Lab, giving a fair overview of what we are doing here and why we are doing this? Yeah, if you mute yourself, please stay unmuted. That's also because I've given rights to everyone to stay muted. That's why.
Yeah, I'm unmuted now. So the Cininfo Screenwriting Lab is a program to encourage upcoming writers, and it's open to everybody who's part of the Cininfo, you know. And from all these entries, I think Deena is mentioning some 280 people who are interested. And whoever applies, there is an application process where there is a case study that has been shared with every one of you. Based on that, we expect some deliverables, which I think has already been mentioned, which is a log line, a story synopsis, a character sketch of key characters, and two sample scenes with placeholder dialogues. And all this material should be based on that case study or should be a fictional interpretation of the case study. And in that, you're free to imagine the genre and the kind of storytelling that you want to do, but do base it on the case study. Based on all these entries, 12 will be shortlisted, and three we'll allocate in groups of three to all our four mentors, which are Mr. Sudhir Mishra, Richa Chadda, Shonali Bose, and Vijay Krishna. And then these three, in these 12 selected shortlisted entries will then be divided into groups of three assigned to each of these mentors. And they will help them develop their short film script. I'll just, another detail is that the case studies eventually will be different. And the case study given as a sample case study for everyone for the initial entry is different. And we hope to come up with some really interesting path-breaking short film scripts, which will then be produced into short films. So I think this is a great opportunity for all writers to collaborate closely with directors, write under some kind of mentorship. And I'll be there for once the 12 candidates are selected, I'll be there to help them whenever they need to reach out to me because there are limited sessions with the mentors. So I'll be in sort of a liaison between the mentors and all the 12 finalists, and we'll be able, and I'm happy to help them in any way. So yeah, that's about the Screenwriters Lab, and yeah, Deena, over to you.
So thank you so much for that. We have a series of questions that we have created as FAQs. So while all of you have sent us questions, have called us, have had long chats with us, some have even read out what they're writing on the phone to me, which is very kind of you. I'm not sure if I am the right person to listen to that, but I have tried my best to give you a patient hearing. I would like to address all the questions which have come up till date on the Screenwriters Lab. So it's in a certain sequence, so it should help you. We are getting a lot of people still joining the session. So let me give everyone another 2-3 minutes to join. Meanwhile, we will be talking about, let me tell you exactly what we'll be talking about. So the categories that we would be discussing, just give me 1 second. Right. So the categories which we'll be talking about is eligibility. How can you, are you eligible, not eligible? What is the eligibility? What are the basic ways in which you can put out this particular case study? We'll be talking about that. What are the do's and don'ts of it? And we have created, like I said, a series of questions which we would like to share with you. It'll work like an FAQ. So once the chat is over, the discussion is over today, we would also publish this as part of our community. So everyone who's part of the community will be able to get access to this. You have to join the community to be able to apply. So once you join the community, once you apply, you will have access to this. You will also have access to the FAQs just in case you want to refer back to this particular FAQs. So Abhinandan, I think we should start with the questions which we have created. As part of today's session, I've actually got a lot of questions on the chat already. Let me just sort this. Give me 1 second, please. There are a lot of questions on the chat about this, so I'm just trying to sort them. Yeah, I've just replied to most of you. We will be talking about, yeah, I hope those are good enough for you. So going forward with the questions, yeah. Abhinandan, please don't mute yourself because if possible, thank you. Thank you. Unless, of course, you have loud noise at the background, then okay, great. So first, let's talk about as we go along how on the eligibility. So we have asked for work experience. We have asked for you to put out some of your work. So Abhinandan, what does it mean to put out your work if they don't have anything published, if they have something
So,
which is working? So
so what
eligibility?
we're really looking for are some writing samples. If you have some work published, which has been converted into a film or a series or a short film, you're most welcome to send that work in. If you have something in development with a production house or a director, we're happy to read a sample of that. And even if you've written something on speculation, we're happy to read some samples of it. But we would prefer not, it's not a criteria, but we would prefer if some professional work has happened, even if it's not been published or made into something, if it's contractual under with some production house or director, we are happy to read a sample.
What if they are a first-time writer, but they have gone to an institute and they have studied filmmaking or writing, but they don't have any completed work?
In that case, you're welcome to send in some samples of your diploma films or student films or anything that you worked on as part of your curriculum.
So the idea is to basically gauge that they have done or are capable of writing, because that's one of the ways of us ascertaining beyond the case study. The next question I have is, do they need to submit their own script as well? Is it mandatory for them to submit their own script, which is part of the work experience? Do they have to submit a script, or should they submit a synopsis? What if these scripts are not registered?
Um, we would encourage you to send us only registered work. Or if it's already been made into a short film, then it's obviously a sample from a previous project. If it is not published, then we'd encourage you to register it. What we're looking for is a sample of your writing. I don't think it makes sense to send a full-length feature film draft of 120 pages or more. But even if you could give us a sense of your writing as a sample, maybe a synopsis or sample scenes or a treatment note or an approach note, or even a few selected scenes from a feature-length screenplay or some key scenes like a cold opening from a television pilot or a television episode, even that will suffice. So we're looking for writing samples. If published, wonderful. If unpublished, then hopefully register.
Right. The next question. Sorry, my screen is a little slow. So the next question is, do we need to submit the logline, character sketch, synopsis, samples, scenes, with placeholder dialogues as per the case study provided? And if so, can they take a leap of faith in terms of the fictionalizing it? How much can they fictionalize? Should case study be the core story, or can they take the emotions and make a completely new story?
I'd say that the case study should be the core events largely, but how you fictionalize it, it's essentially a non-fiction case study of an action group. So now from non-fiction, you have to fictionalize and create fiction out of it. So be within the realm of the events in the case study, but you're happy to imagine your own protagonists, your own character arcs, the way that you would want to interpret this.
The next question I have as part of our FAQs is, do we have to stick to the story provided in the case study, or can we create a completely new story?
No, a completely new story defeats the purpose. I would say you remain within the ambit of the case study, of the sequence of events, or the issue or the social issue that is being talked about. Within that realm, you can create your own, narrative or characters and their character arcs or whatever is, whatever is it that you want to imagine. But I think the case study has to do something with substance abuse and children getting into substance abuse or something, Dina, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So be within that social issue. I mean, so it's like you're writing to a theme or a brief.
Okay, also can you explain this in Hindi once again?
तो जो आपको सैंपल केस स्टडी दिया गया है उसी दायरे में रह के आप कहानी सोचिए। जो मुद्दा जो सोशल इशू के बारे में बात हो रही है, मेरे ख्याल से जो केस स्टडी शेयर किया गया है उसमें ड्रग अब्यूज और बच्चे जो ड्रग अब्यूज में फंस जाते हैं उसके बारे में है। तो उसी दुनिया मतलब उसी रेलम में उसी सीक्वेंस ऑफ इवेंट्स में उन्हीं मुद्दों से जुड़े रहिए। लेकिन हाँ, क्योंकि वो नॉन फिक्शन है और आपको फिक्शन बनाना है, आप एक नॉन फिक्शन केस स्टडी को फिक्शनलाइज कैसे करेंगे, क्या कैरेक्टर्स बनाएंगे, एंटागनिस्ट कौन है, प्रोटैगनिस्ट कौन है, वो पूरी छूट आपको है और वो पूरा फ्रीडम आपको है। तो मतलब आप सोचिए कि आपको कोई थीम या कोई ब्रीफ मिला है और इस पे आपको फिक्शन क्रिएट करना है।
Right. And the next question. So there's a lot of question about this. Case study ka, what is the role of the case study? And how much to stay on the case study? And how much can I build around it?
I think we've answered this.
Yes. What kind of story can we write? Is there any genre restriction? Again, it's the same.
No, there is no genre restriction. You can interpret it in whichever way you want to. You can make it आप हॉरर कर सकते हैं, फैंटेसी कर सकते हैं, कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, वो पूरी छूट है आपको। ड्रामा, कॉमेडी, जो भी आपको जॉनर एक्सप्लोर करना है, लेकिन जैसा मैंने कहा कि उस केस स्टडी के मुद्दे से बाहर मत।
Right. Languages which they can write in.
इंग्लिश या फिर हिंदी।
Since the form is in English, आपको English में लिखना होगा. But if you have your sample scripts, you can send it in Hindi or any other languages. So the form is incidentally in English. What should they write the details for a short film, and how long should it be? So we've given a word limit, just Abhinandan, just so you know. We put out
Yeah, there is a word limit, so it'll be ideal if we all stay within the parameters of that word limit. And the duration of the short film, we're looking at anywhere between 10 to 30 minutes.
Right. The next one is, should we write will the information provided in the application be used, or do they retain the IP? I will take this up. So this is just a application form. After, if you write it and you like your own writing, if you don't get selected, completely feel free to use what you have written as a synopsis, character sketch. It does not belong to us. This is just a form which you are filling. So there is no IP behind this form. So if you're writing a story or a synopsis, character sketch, and you really like it and you want to go further with this thought process of yours, please go ahead. This IP does not belong to us. I will put out the link for for this form again on the chat while once the question answers are over. The next question, what is the selection process?
So the selection process is that based on this case study, you will give us your entries, and we have from all the entries, we have an internal team of readers who will shortlist the top 12 or top 15. I think there's a buffer of 2 or 3 cases. We also have an AI software to run a plagiarism check. So based on the plagiarism check, we are looking to filter out some of the entries. And the ones that pass the plagiarism test we have an in-house group of readers who are going to shortlist all the entries into 12 based on artistic merit, of course.
Will the film language be in Hindi? The final 4 films or the 12 films which will be written will be in Hindi?
I think that will really depend on the mentorship and the lab and how once the 12 finalists are shortlisted, depending on the case study they get and depending on the mentorship program in which direction it heads, I think the language question is probably will be addressed at that stage. Having said that, we're looking for rooted stories in very specific locations, and most of the films will be based on real case studies. So I think the final language will really depend on the setting of the final case studies that are provided, and as far as the final dialogues are concerned and everything, I think we'll discover where that goes. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, and also in terms of the languages, there are a few people who are saying we are not conversant in English or we're not conversant in Hindi. They are conversant. They are conversant in a foreign language. Would they be also? Can they also apply?
Yes, they can very much apply because what we're looking for in the mentorship and the screenwriters lab is to develop a screenplay. So the screenplay can be in English, or whoever is more comfortable in Hindi. I think the screenplay can also be in Hindi. As far as the final dialogues are concerned, like I said, it will really depend on the setting of the case study. And for the final round of dialogues and a dialogue pass, we can have some help from dialect coaches or language experts. But for the screenplay writing lab, we are really limiting ourselves to writing a screenplay. So dialogues right now is not part of the conversation.
That's actually brilliant because there are a couple of people who are from foreign languages who are asked this question. The next question is, when will we get to know the result? I'll take this up. It's a 12-week workshop. So once the final 12 have been selected, from there on, it will be 12 weeks. So let's say by the first week of June, we announce, I'm giving an example. By first week of June, agar hamare 12 select ho jate hain, then 3 months from there. So 3 months का ये writing का process रहेगा. Do you want to add anything to that, Abhinandan, in terms of timelines?
I think the timelines are I think last day of entry is the 1st of June.
Yes,
So
we have extended it to 1st of June.
we're looking for entries till 1st of June, and I think hopefully by the 15th of June, the lab will start. So we'll take from the 1st of June to the 15th of June to filter out the applications into the final 12.
Yes.
And the lab will formally start on 15th onwards.
The people who are eligible to apply, who is eligible to apply? Are there any age or experience requirements? We've already spoken about what they have to put up. When we mean that they should have a few years of experience in screenwriting, so does it mean that they should have done professional screenwriting, or does it mean that they could have done it in their own but not put out anything, like ADs, DAs?
We've answered that question. We are just looking for some writing samples.
Right. Next question. Can I apply if I don't have any formal training? I am a fresher, but I've been writing and I have writing samples.
All right. Not all screenwriters are formally trained in institutes. So I think as long as you have writing samples to share, it should be good.
Then can I submit a co-written script or apply as a writing team?
No, the program is only for individual writers.
Will participants receive a certificate or letter of completion after the lab? I can answer that. Yes, the 12 who get selected will receive a participation certificate, and they will also receive letter of recommendations from the mentors. Um, about the four writers whose scripts get selected, they will actually get writer's credit as part of the film which gets made. So while they get mentored and they learn the whole process, all 12 will get to be part of the entire process of learning of how to complete an entire script. The four who get selected, they will get the credit as part of the film which gets made after that. I have taken up all the questions which were on the community, which were shared on the community. Now I'm going to look at the questions on the chat and I'll take up a few questions from the chat. I'm going to skip the questions which you've already answered. So I think eligibility we've explained well. So I hope there are no questions about the eligibility. All of you who can write, have some writing experience, have something written out there, please put it up. Languages we've explained. Abhinandan Maitha is requesting if we can also we can also mention that how they can use the case study in their submission process. How can they use, the whole idea was that instead of giving them an open bit, how can they use the case study to submit it in terms of the synopsis that they need to submit, they need to let to know that how can they submit the full story with the synopsis, like the start, the middle, and the end, and have a promising idea that they are presenting. So how the case study is supposed to help them submit it and not really see it as a deterrent. If you can talk about that a little bit.
I think we've discussed this. Like the case study, your entry is going to be based on the case study. The case study gives you a social issue. It gives you a practice or a an issue that we're dealing with. Your fictionalization has to be based on that. So think of it as writing for a brief. You know, whenever we write, we're either adapting a book or we're writing to a directorial brief by the director that I want to make a certain film in a certain genre. Or if those of you who are from an advertising background write to the brief of a client or a product. So think of the case study as a starting point that we want to base the story within this practice and within this social issue. And within that, to highlight that social issue, you're free to imagine your own characters. As far as the deliverables are concerned, I think what we're looking for is a log line, which is a one line idea as to what is your film trying to communicate. We're looking for a story synopsis, which has a very complete, we should get to know your plot or your story with a clear beginning, middle, and an end treated like a story synopsis. And the two sample scenes that we've asked for is essentially to gauge your skill at scene construction and your skill at creating drama within a scene. So the scenes are for that purpose. And like we've mentioned, the dialogues at this point should only be placeholder. We are not expecting dialogue precision right now. So essentially, we're testing your skills on how to cull out a fictional story from a brief. So the brief is the case study. And what you do with that is where we see your screenwriting skill and your skills at dramaturgy, your skills as dramatists of creating drama and situations and conflicts. So I hope that answers the question.
Yes, I think that answers the question really well. I have also put out the same on the chat as fast as I could type while you were talking about it. Will the case study be used later in the screenwriting lab?
No, this case study used for given out for entries is not going to be used. So once you make it to the short list, fresh case studies will be assigned to you to write a short film out of, and that mentorship will be based on that.
So while the story is about drug abuse, it's about addiction, substance abuse, and children. So does it have to be the same issue, or can it be about a different issue as long as the 4 points above are met?
No, I mean, if the 4 points above are being met, then it's the same issue. So we're looking at addiction and substance abuse among children, and that is your main issue. So the issue cannot be changed. We cannot talk about, say, gender or nationalism or environment. The issue very clearly here is addiction and drug abuse among adolescents. So you create a fiction story out of that. See how many ways you can interpret addiction, and there are 1,001 ways where addiction can be talked about or dramatized. So that is where we're looking to see your screenwriting skills.
So great. So I think a lot of questions I've answered. Yes, you can change the world, the setting, location, names. Yes, everything. So a lot of people asked that question. Now they said yes, they've understood. So if okay, I'm going to answer this question. If you're paying a fee of 449, that is the fee for joining Cininfo as a community. That's your community fee. This is not for the lab. Everyone who's already part of the community is writing and applying for the lab for free. So in case you're when you go to the apply page and it takes you to a fee page, that's you registering. Any session, you go to any other session on Cininfo, it will always take you to the apply now page and it will take you to a fee page. If you're already a member, just log in and then apply and the form will open up. Another question, you can apply only once. So once you have hit the submit button, you cannot apply again. So please be very sure before, so you know the questions, write it down separately on a Word document or something. And then you can, now after today's discussion, if you are panicking that, oh my goodness, I have submitted, but I could have, please write to us. I'm going to put my email ID, which you can write to us, and we will try and see what is the issue and why do you want to apply again. But once you hit the submit button, you cannot apply again. So please just write your synopsis and everything on a separate Word document before you finally copy paste it. Also, we cannot open it up for you. So you will have to literally apply on email to me because as a tech company, this cannot be opened up again. So that's why we'll have to take it separately. And only one of your applications will be submitted. So you have to tell me, please junk the previous one and only this one. It's not that I will submit both your applications. So if you even send me an email, okay, I'm sending you one more, we will then by default junk the one which you've sent previously and only take the one which is on email. Do they get to direct the film that they are writing? Oh, sorry. Right.
No, this is a screenwriters lab only. It's not a direction mentorship. It's only for like screenwriting.
And do they get credits as writers? So by which we have said yes.
Yes.
And will there be multiple case studies during the lab? And will they be able to pick and choose their case studies?
So I think that question we'll answer once the shortlisting is done and we'll decide the future course of action.
Right. The next question is about the duration, which you mentioned. Is it the final film is also going to be a short? So between
Yes,
20 to 30.
short, between 10 to 30 minutes.
I'll answer this next question. Are you expected to pay anything for the lab? No, you're not expected to pay anything for the lab during the course of the lab for 12 weeks, going up to maybe 13. Also, it will be completely online, so you don't need to travel. We are not going to expect you to reach anywhere, meet someone. But the last finale, when we do, we would be inviting you, and those protocols will be explained to everyone, the 12 contestants, the 12 participants, once they are selected. But there is no payment, neither now nor later. So even if you're invited, we will be hosting you. So that is there. So many of them are asking, will they be able to direct the short film? I think right now, let's just concentrate about writing it.
No, this is very clearly a screenwriters program. It's not open for direction. those films will be produced and be made into films. But it's a for this the Screenwriters Lab. The entries are only for writing.
The process of the final selection of the final 4 films, what would that be? How would we to the 4 mentors? How would we select?
I think the mentors of
Will
the
be,
3
yeah.
mentees that are assigned to each mentor, the mentor will pick their preferred script based on artistic merit and some other criteria.
Precisely. So all 4 mentors will pick they'll have 3 mentees each. 12 will be divided amongst 4. Along with Abhinandan, the final 4 will be selected. So ideally, it will be 1 mentee per mentor that will be selected. Are there any technical aspects of screenwriting and story world making which the jury will judge our entries? What will they judge upon? I think what you've submitted, but any technical aspects?
Yeah, I mean, all technical aspects of skill for character building, skill for scene construction, skills of audiovisual flair and finesse. Yeah, I mean the basic parameters of screenwriting. So you will be judged on all those criteria, which are all technical criteria.
If the writing sample which they're uploading is 100 pages, feature script, how many pages should they submit? Ideally, they should submit a synopsis. That's a question.
Ideally, a synopsis to keep the word count low. And if you can also submit sample scenes, that also works.
For their writing sample.
For the right.
And how many writing samples? I think we've given you we've given you placement for only 2. So just submit 2, best of 2. That's fine. Then on the plagiarism check, okay. How can you leverage AI while crafting the story? Of course, story submitted has to be original, which they understand. So should I explain the AI plagiarism check? I'll go ahead and explain the plagiarism check. So the AI plagiarism check is we run it on a plagiarism software, which will ideally check if this story is similar to 100% similar to any other story out there, which could be primarily in India and then going, international. Because it's a story, let's say the case study is on addiction. It is very easy for one of you to just take up an addiction story, which is out there, very remote in some other language and put it out there. Hence, we need a plagiarism check to ensure that you have, created an original synopsis. If it has just about, if only if it exceeds 70% of match, does it really qualify as a plagiarized script? So if it is 20-30% or even up to 40%, we are going to let it be, but it cannot be like 70-80% plagiarized. Is there anything else so how can they use AI? Abhinandan, they would like to know, how can they use AI and if they can use AI for their story?
See, this is if AI is available to you and if you think it enhances your work in any way, by all means, that technology is available. And really, there's no way of us knowing if you've used AI or not. So AI has to be used ethically and responsibly. And yeah, that's what I'd like to say, because artistic merit can be gauged with or without using AI. It's really how you use AI to tell an original story. That's where, I mean, I don't want it to be a discussion about AI, but to answer, the short answer is yes, you can use AI, but you have to use it ethically and responsibly.
I have put the link of the Screenwriters Lab on the chat. I'm going to put it again, just in case all of you are wondering where to get it. So it's on the website, but just putting it out again. There's a lot of questions which are repetitive. So we are recording this session. So you can go back and listen to the recording. We'll put it up. The two samples, writing samples, one which you can submit synopsis and the scene are of the same film. Yes. Yes, if you're writing the synopsis about the case study, the sample scene, the synopsis, the log line, the sample scene with placeholder dialogue, everything is about the case study. It's not of different subjects. So it has to be all about the one story which you're doing. So if from the case study you've taken an inspiration to create a story on addiction, the synopsis is about that, the sample scenes are about that, and the log line is about that. How many days per week will we be working as part of the lab? Well, that is going to be determined once you join the lab. It will be as per the availability of the mentors, as well as it will be plotted in advance. So in other words, every 15 days, you will know what are the next 15 days. So it will be plotted. That's why it's online, so that everybody can be made available. And it is more convenient for all of you, as well as the mentors, to be able to build it. While we will also have Abhinandan, who's the program coach, working with you primarily as part of these of the workshop of the lab. You will also have a very clear schedule put out in certain frequency, in certain cycles. So even if I tell you it will be 2 days every week, if you would want to know it is a weekend or a weekday, I cannot answer that question. So that's that. So, Sharda, your question on your writing sample, can you submit one scene with dialogues and one synopsis of the same film? You have to follow the structure of the form. So the form has a synopsis, two sample scenes, the character sketch of the main characters. So you have to follow that. Please put it out. And in case you are unable to, then as in why are you, is it like the word limit are not falling short? I don't know why is it that, but it has to be, you have to fill the form. You cannot skip. uh, in other words, yes, all those four fields are important: the log line, the place, the sample scenes, and the synopsis along with the character sketch, all are mandatory. We
See,
cannot.
can I come in here? Why we've asked for these deliverables is to really understand your clarity regarding your story. So, if, say, for example, the synopsis is not adequate to convey something that you want to say about the writer, about the character, so therefore there is a separate field for a short character sketch, which is like a supplementary to your main story synopsis. A logline is to see how you can condense an idea into one sentence and how succinct and concise your communication can be, and how clearly you can think of the premise of your story. And the sample scenes are to test a completely different skill set, which is scene construction. So that's why we've given these headings. So all the different deliverables are really complementary to each other. I mean, your log line, your story synopsis should uphold your log line, and your story synopsis should also uphold the character arcs and therefore the different character sketches that have been asked for. And then all of that should be translated or should be reflective in your skill of scene construction in the sample scene that you asked. So that's what we're looking at, like clarity of your own story. So that's why different ways to communicate that clarity.
So Sharda has raised her hand. I think she would like to just clarify her question. I'll just unmute her. Go ahead, Sharda.
I just wanted to check the writing sample that you said do not submit a feature film, but you can submit a synopsis or a scene. So my question was, as a writing sample, not as the case study, if it is of the same movie, the
Yes,
synopsis, is
yes,
that would that be okay?
yes. You
Okay.
can submit the synopsis and two sample scenes of the same feature length film.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharda. Another question from Shrikant we have is that question about approach to the case study. Assuming you had written the movie Sholay, would you disclose death of Jay in your one-page synopsis while pitching it?
Yeah, because I'm not an audience for it. I'm not the screen audience that you have to withhold information. I mean, the Screenwriters Lab is to understand your skills of storytelling. So the skill of storytelling is not to withhold a plot point. The skill of storytelling is to uh, gauge the timing when that information should be revealed, and that timing of revealing of information is the skill that we're looking at. So with, concealing your plot is not going to help understand your skill. It's how you structure information and how you create intrigue and drama by revealing key information at the correct time is what we're looking at.
Please repeat. They are asking you to repeat.
मैं ये हिंदी में बोलूंगा. देखिए, किसी ने शोले का जिक्र किया कि शोले में क्या हम बता दें कि अमिताभ बच्चन का कैरेक्टर का देहांत होने वाला है. तो मैं यही कह रहा हूँ कि हम स्क्रीन ऑडियंस नहीं है. आप हमें ऑडियंस की तरह ना देखें. आप हमें स्क्रीन राइटिंग वर्कशॉप के नजर से देखें. तो इसमें बहुत जरूरी हो जाता है बताना कि अमिताभ बच्चन का कैरेक्टर नहीं रहने वाला, वो जिंदा नहीं रहने वाला. लेकिन क्योंकि हम स्टोरी को टोटलिटी में देख रहे हैं, हम सिर्फ उस मोमेंट में शॉक वैल्यू के लिए हम गेज नहीं कर रहे हैं, हम पूरे आपके स्टोरी को टोटलिटी में देख रहे हैं. तो स्टोरी के डिटेल्स तो आपको देने पड़ेंगे, लेकिन हाँ, कौन सा प्लॉट पॉइंट कहाँ आ रहा है और किस तरह से आप फैक्ट्स को कंस्ट्रक्ट कर रहे हैं अपने स्टोरी सिनॉप्सिस में, वो जरूर. और द एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ रीडिंग इट इज, आई मीन, it should not be a predictable read. It should be a read that engages us. So how you organize your facts and how you structure them is your skill as a writer.
The next question is, I am an Iranian filmmaker and I have written and directed films. I would like to work as part of this opportunity. Does this give me leverage to use films and stories from my cultural plot?
Yeah. Just take the case study in essence and you can set it anywhere.
And so, yeah, and it can be in any language. So yes, you can submit it in English. So same question. If I write it, it is for India, how will it get customized? So same question. I think maybe they missed, they may have joined a little later.
Yeah, I think we'll address that once the lab starts. For the entry and submission purposes, you can root it in a cultural context that you're familiar with. But take the essence of the themes of the case study, which are addiction and substance abuse among children, etc.
How would you choose the 12 writers? What are the criteria that are governing in choosing them?
We've answered this question.
Yes, that's it. I think these are mostly, I've just gone through the questions all over again. A couple of questions which were there as part of the chat, which we wanted to also mention, that the 12 writers who join this lab, they are not employed. So this is not an employment contract. So in case you're thinking that it's not an employment contract, this is a workshop. It's a lab. So you are joining to get training. Think of it as a workshop. Please do not think of it as a job. So when you join a workshop, you will get a letter of recommendation. You will get a certificate of completion if you get to join it. And if your script is selected and it goes in for production, because 4 scripts will be produced, then you get the credits of the writer. But all of this will be done with a mentor hand-holding you from the point you are starting to write all the way to the final. So there will be many checks that will be there as part of it. I think Shubham has a question. Shubham, I think you answered your question, but go ahead.
Hi, I wanted to ask one thing, because you said that it will be just writing for us and not direction. And if the script gets into the top 4, like it is produced, so it will be like a writing credit. So just wanted to understand whether it's just the credit or there will be a fees for the, like the short film that is getting produced. Just wanted to understand that.
So I'll take that up. So there is no fees as such will be paid to you for writing it, because the whole concept of writing it is with the mentor. But at the end, what is given for the 4 writers is credits. If at all there is an honorarium, we can look at that at the end of the program. But for now, you should know this is you're joining a workshop. We'll help you write the screenplay. You will get literally support from various other members in the industry to help you write. At the end, it will be a script which will, if it goes in for production, then you get the writing credit, the writer's credit. I hope that answers your question. Okay. I don't have any further questions. So, so next question is that I think you've answered this. Is everybody's asking the same question over and over again? If it is on a child substance abuse, for example, springboarding from the case study, that the story can happen to the same child at a later stage in his or her life. Does it have to be a child abuse, a child substance abuse, or can it be?
We've answered this question. As long as it's about addiction and substance abuse, you can place it at any point in time in the character's life.
Yes, and the deadline is 1st of June. If you're not in, okay. So if you're not part of the 4, eventually, yes, the 8 who are not going to get their films will have their scripts. They can go ahead with their scripts. So the 4 who go ahead and produce their scripts will get the writer's credits. The other 8 can take their scripts and produce it independently. They can definitely take that and go ahead with it. No hidden fees or charges involved. No, they are not going to ask you some 50 rupees on the side. No, we won't do that. So the entire workshop is free. The lab is free. How can you submit the script? I've just put the link on the chat. Deepak has a question. Sir, I have an amazing blockbuster script. At any given time, will they be able to share it with the mentors? If they get selected, of course.
That will depend on the relationship you build with them.
There's also a question of how can they write, how can they work with you?
Work with me.
Yes. How can they apply to work with you, assist you, or intern with you?
I think my email ID is part of the.
We can share it with everyone who has joined.
On my email ID, we can get in touch and then we can save.
And I think that is so. Anybody
Right now, the focus is on the lab, so I'm here to assist you in any way for any queries regarding the lab and the case studies that you develop. So I think for now, for the next couple of months, I think we should limit it to that.
I have another very interesting question. Since I am an actor and I have been writing, but nothing is formal and it is not out there, they are writing samples. So yes, they can put up the writing sample. And can they apply, or will it go against them that they're an actor?
No, we're not going to hold it against you. If your samples have merit, we'll consider it. However, having said that, we encourage more professional working writers. It's a very serious writers lab. It is not a hobby class. It won't be held against you, but we are in favor of working professional writers to come in.
Please, could you also repeat this in Hindi?
तो मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि ये जो राइटर्स लैब है ये वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल राइटर्स के लिए है जो प्रोफेशनली अपने आप को राइटर कहते हैं अगर आप प्रोफेशनली कुछ और करते हैं आप राइटिंग में इंटरेस्टेड हैं आपको राइटिंग में रुचि है तो आप अप्लाई ज़रूर करें लेकिन प्रेफरेंस प्रोफेशनल और वर्किंग राइटर्स की
Okay. The sample scene input box doesn't support a regular screenplay format. So does it mean we don't write dialogues or at all, or simply disregard any kind of formatting? So I'd like to answer this. The text box which has been given you is a basic text box. So where you have to put the sample screenplay with dialogues. So in terms of formatting, it will just be a copy paste. Is there anything you want to add to the format?
Sorry, can't they upload a PDF?
No, the sample scene which they are supposed to put up as part of the form, which has a placeholder dialogue. That's a text box. But in terms of work links, they can upload anything. They can upload PDF, links, anything.
Okay, maybe it'll help for the sample scenes also if they can upload a PDF, because then the formatting of Final Draft or whatever software they're writing on is intact, and the copy paste is avoided. But we can take that offline and we'll get back.
Yeah, it'll need a bit of a tech rehaul for the whole form.
Okay.
Because we've kept a free text one.
Okay.
Because the format is very important, Nayana is saying. So yes, we understand. But this form and has been already submitted by many. I promise you, many people have submitted it. Please try and stick to that particular format. And maybe you can use paragraphs and gaps to put it out. But unfortunately, any kind of PDF will require for us to go for a tech build, which is not possible right now. So
Okay, fine. So you just copy paste. We'll factor in the formatting and the alignment.
The next is okay. कोशिश करके हिंदी में ज्यादा बात करिए. Okay, कोशिश करिए.
अब से सिर्फ हिंदी में बात करूँगा.
नहीं, we also have international audience, so we cannot do that.
Okay, we can.
Sorry. As a writer, Ankita has a question. I just want one suggestion that how should I believe myself that I'm writing is going right? By listening others, I get confused and I'm writing wrong. So please help me so that I believe that I'm not getting confused. So,
Who's asking this question?
Ankita Dhar.
Ankita, this constant game between self-doubt and conviction is something that all writers have to walk that path by themselves. There is no one way of knowing. You keep questioning yourself, you keep refining your work, and nobody else can tell you whether you're right or whether you're wrong. That instinct has to be developed by yourself. But always be open to feedback and sort of bounce it off other people if you can. That helps.
Ankita sent you a heart. Thank you so much, Ankita, for the question. Amit has a very interesting question. Amit said, if we are able to get selected, can they choose the mentor or the mentor chooses them?
Let's get selected first, and then we'll address that. We'll see how that goes.
Next question is, why 1,000 words character sketch do we need to submit? Is it that it should be shorter or longer?
It's an upper limit, you know. You can the shorter the entries, we'd encourage that really. The idea is to really see economy of words and brevity in how can you express yourself in less. How can you express yourself effectively in less? 1,000 is just the upper limit. It can totally undershoot that mark, as long as the idea is getting communicated.
Nayana, who had asked about the formatting, as a second question, since you mentioned that English is what you're supposed to submit in Roman script, is it acceptable as in Hindi words written in English is accepted?
I think so. I mean, yeah, I would think so, yeah. You can write a Hindi sentence in Roman script.
That's it. I have covered almost every question. And just to let you know, we have 27 questions. But since there were a lot of repetitions, we have asked all the questions. And that's it for today. Thank you so much, Abhinandan, for giving us time. Do we have to submit script on any particular topic? Okay, now the people who have not gone through the program are probably asking. So I'll do one quick recap. But and please feel free to add to this recap. I'm just doing a quick recap. So it's a Screenwriters Lab for Cininfo members to apply. You have to be a Cininfo member to be able to apply for this. And after you apply, you will get a confirmation email saying that your application has been accepted. You can apply only once. In order to apply, you have to be a Cininfo member. That means you have to be a registered member. So there's a subscription for joining Cininfo. Once you've subscribed, there is no more payment for you to apply. And if you get selected also, there is no further payment. This is a mentorship opportunity. This is not just that, submit your script and finish it off. It's a mentorship opportunity. So for 3 weeks after you're selected, you will be working with the mentor and with the Abhinandan, along with writing for a short film. The short film will be between 20 to 30 minutes. And it will be a complete screenplay, which will be there at the end. Out of 12, 4 scripts will be selected, which will be produced. And the other 8 can actually continue taking the scripts and continue with their journey. They can use the script and they can also look at other production houses to present it to. As part of this, we will have our mentors we mentioned, Sudhir Mishra ji, Sonali Bose, Vijay Krishna Acharya, Richard Chadda, and Abhinandan Gupta. These are your mentors. They will be working with you as part of this particular section. we've answered all the questions. If you still have questions, please write to us. I'm going to put out my email ID again. On the chat, please do look at the chat. If you're part of the session right now, please look at the chat. It is info@cininfo.in. So please write to us and we will answer your questions in more detail. If there is still something pending, or there is a WhatsApp number on the form, you can write to us at that as well. One last question. I think this is the description under character sketch of the main. It says that write 500 to 1000 word. Oh, that has been corrected. If you see, that was a text error. We've corrected that. So you have to just write a character sketch of the main characters. Is there anything else? Okay, yeah, that's it.
All the best, everyone.
So I think many people are asking when will the scripts be shot, when it will be produced. All of that in due course. We will keep everyone updated. Any last words before we wrap up today?
All the best, everyone.
Thank you so much, Abhinandan. I think this has been, everybody saying thank you. It's been very helpful. One person is saying one last question. Okay, how much of the writer will be involved when the film is being shot? How much will the writer be involved in the shoot of the film? So what is the role of the writer when a film is being shot?
That's a good question. I think we are looking for engagement with the writer even when the film is being produced. However, it's too premature to talk about it right now. But I think, as all of us know, that writing does not cease, and it is an evolving process. So we're looking forward to engagement and participation all the way through the filming process.
That's it. Thank you so much, Abhinandan. Wanted to make it a very short and sweet session for everyone. We wrapped it up exactly in time. We look forward to all your entries. I will share Abhinandan's email ID, but that is for later, because if I share it now, all of you will start sending scripts to Abhinandan. So we will share it once we have, you can send your request to us. If you want to talk to Abhinandan directly, we will share it to you as part of writing to us. So please write to us if you want to talk to Abhinandan, to work with him or to connect with him. But right now, we're talking about the Screenwriters Lab.
Yeah, I think right now, let's just focus on the Screenwriters Lab and we'll take it on.
Done. Thank you. Deepak, what is your question? Sorry, Deepak is saying my question has not been taken up. Okay, Deepak, please do.
Please go ahead, Deepak.
Okay. Deepak, your blockbuster film for the big screen on patriotism, friendship, devotion, which you've written. Yeah. Sorry? Okay, I'm sorry, I'll have to mute you. So this session is not for that. If you want to narrate it to Nikhil sir, we will share with you details of Nikhil sir's email ID. Please write to him directly. I have that, I will share it with you.
I just have a humble request with everyone. I think let us just honor the occasion and the platform. This is a Screenwriters Laboratory. For any other kind of engagement with any of the mentors, that can be at a later stage, and that depends on if you're shortlisted and if you develop a relationship with them. As of now, let us only focus on the task at hand, which is this Writers Lab and the case study which is being provided. So let's just limit the ambit of questions to that, and let us not take questions beyond that.
Perfect, fair. Thank you so much. More than 76 questions on the chat. A lot of them, as I said, were repeats, but we've taken up all. Because again, I have an AI checking for repeat questions. So I promise you, we've taken up all questions. Thank you once again. And looking forward to submissions. Thank you, Abhinandan. We already have 23 right now. We will be sharing more with you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Hope we were helpful. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.